somewhere.
Welcome to OMG Talk Show for small business owners, workaholics, and whiz-bang entrepreneurs. Here's your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
Hey, everybody, I'm Paul. Sarah's not here today, but I am glad to meet another individual on Alignable.com, another up-and-coming small business owner site. I met David King over there. He's in the solar industry, and I have a couple of questions I'd love to dive into and learn all about David King and his industry in the solar industry. How are you today, David King?
Done great, my friend Paul.
Fantastic. We're streaming over on my Facebook, my LinkedIn, or YouTube. So if anybody happens to have a question about what David is saying, feel free to put a comment underneath the video on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, and I'll see it, maybe even feature it on the screen at the bottom lower thirds. So let's dive in. Here's the first question for David. What are some of the advantages of solar?
Well, for one, it's saving lots of money on your energy costs. When we look over 25 years, because of locking in your monthly payment, like say with a solar loan, there's lots of savings there. For example, I just did a solar proposal for a farmer with a lot of greenhouses, and it shows a savings of $450,000 over 25 years. So, saving lots of money is one, and the advantages of, like, if you have a battery, to not have downtime when there's a power outage. That's a great advantage, not lose your food and so on. And, locking in your monthly payment that you pay with zero down solar loan. So just lots of advantages to having your own energy system on your own house.
Oh, thank you. That's a great start, David. I know we got a few more questions for you and learn about you. So, are there similar advantages to owning your own energy system as to owning your own home?
Yeah, there is. A lot of people might not think about it that way, but the advantages is that you don't have to rely on the electric company to have your own system on your roof. When we have a solar system, then our energy, our electricity comes from the sun. Of course, sunshine is free, so it's there's just a lot of advantages to having our own energy system on our own house.
Excellent. Thank you, David, for that question. And here's a little tip. I picked it up actually at a Toastmasters club. I don't know if you're familiar with Toastmasters, but if
Yeah.
you have any personal stories in the middle of any of these questions, feel free to ad lib a little bit of personal story. It'll shine a little bit of you into it as well, and it really makes a great impact. But in which states do you operate?
All 50 states across the whole United States.
Wow. Is this your own business, or are you a representative for a very big company or
Well,
multiple companies?
so there's two companies I work with in order to cover the whole United States, and but it is my own business. I am an independent solar energy consultant, and so I am not an employee of any company, and so the advantages is that I work for the homeowner. I work for trying to get the homeowner the best price that I can from whichever company that I can. And so, I'm not beholden to any specific solar company to, use what they got.
Thank you, David. So how long have you been a solar energy consultant? Speaking of that,
6 years. Yeah, 6 years this month.
now you're crossing the almost the 10-year mark. So let's see. Are there any tax incentives available? I'm sure there are. I imagine.
Yes, for one, there's a 30% federal tax credit available across all 50 states. That means that if there's somebody that's used to paying the federal government taxes, then working with your accountant, you can have all of that 30% of the cost of your system taken off your taxes that you don't have to pay them. So, besides that federal tax incentive, there are numerous local and state incentives. For example, in Virginia, where I live, there's the Solar Renewable Energy Credits, SRAC for short. And so that is based on once a homeowner has their system in place, then they start generating those energy credits. And like I've seen with a bigger system where there's like $8,000 or $10,000 that will accumulate over the course of say 5 to 8 years. Besides state credits, some local municipalities, cities have their own. So it varies across the country.
Gotcha. So, do you offer a zero down solar loan? I didn't even know about that, but what's a zero down solar loan, and do you offer that?
I sure do, yes. So zero down solar loan means the fact that I am connected to several solar loan companies that they specialize in solar loans. They specialize in these zero down solar loans, and that means that there is no upfront money needed. There is no money, no down payment needed before the solar system is up. We do all the work of getting a proposal together and presenting it. In other words, I do, to presenting it to the homeowner and getting. Uh, we do all the permits because solar is considered a building project. So we do all that work, get the solar system completely up and running with no upfront money. I know I'm repeating myself a little, but then after the solar system is completely installed, then the payments will switch. If I can go 100%, which I aim for, and so if there's enough room for enough panels, or if I can do ground mounts, for example, but if I can do 100%, then that means when that solar system is complete, that the homeowner's payments will switch from instead of paying a monthly electric bill to their utility company, they now pay a monthly solar loan payment to the solar loan company. So lots of advantages in that. You know, for example, getting your monthly payment locked in, because with the solar company, I mean with the utility companies, there is the continuous upward spiral of increasing prices. Here in this area, we're looking at Appalachian Power going up a whole lot in the next months. They said they will, but with the solar loan, you know you get it locked in, so you know what your monthly payments will be. Of course, the good news is always when you have solar that. Whether you pay cash or whether you have solar loan payments, at the end of the payments, you have no monthly energy costs. So, that in a nutshell is what a zero down solar loan is.
So, you offer other financing, like I guess cash options or maybe a home equity loan idea. What other options are there for financing, including those?
Well, there's some power purchase agreements that is available, things like that. And that means that, like, for example, for those who don't have good enough credit to get a loan, a zero down solar loan, like maybe the elderly people who don't have tax advantages, there's that where we can come in and we can install a solar system. The owner doesn't own it, but it's still a lot better that way, where the solar company owns it, than just continuing to have ever increasing electricity costs from the utility company. So yes, there's just things like that that are available.
Right. So tell me though, how does a home equity loan work with solar? Is that a good idea?
Yes, it is. Well, people need to do their own due diligence about whether that's good for them. It varies in the, let's say, the credit people have, but generally speaking, if somebody would rather pay cash, which I want to mention that cash is a good option for those who have that ability to do so, but maybe they don't have enough cash on hand, so they can turn to a home equity loan, and that's like because they get cheaper interest that way. So that's also a good idea.
Tell us about how involved are batteries with relating to solar.
Well, yes, I certainly have battery options available for homeowners, for those who just really want that the good feeling of when the power goes down, that they will still have power. I have several different kinds of batteries available, including the well-known famous Tesla. But battery options are they're okay. I don't generally promote battery options a whole lot because batteries are still so expensive. I believe the prices of batteries will come down a lot in the future. But for those who want a battery, it's available. Like if they add a battery to a zero down solar loan, it will, of course, increase their monthly payments that they need to pay. But batteries are good for peace of mind. Some people choose rather to go with a generator, which is also a good choice for when the power goes out. So, yeah, that's available.
So tell us about what exactly is net metering.
Well, net metering is something where now some states have net metering laws in place that says that the utility company has to offer net metering. And what that means is that at the time of a solar system going in place, the utility company puts in a new meter, and that meter has the capability to spin backwards or forwards. And so the homeowner does not need to have a battery with net metering uh, to have a continuous flow of electricity as long as there's not a power outage. So the solar electricity that's generated from a solar system, it flows through the house's main panel box. So that means when the sun is shining, that shining brightly, all their electricity needs are generated by the sun. And there will be lots of times during bright sunny days where there's an excess generated, and then that gets pushed out into the grid through that new meter, and then at night and cloudy days when there's not enough sunshine, the electric will come back in. So that, in a nutshell, is what net metering is. It allows a continuous, uninterrupted flow of electricity to come in. And usually, in a state that has a net metering law, it also says that if there's an excess of electricity generated more than is needed, say over the course of a year, then the utility company has to pay the homeowner for that extra electricity that's generated.
Okay, so does having a solar system increase the value of a home?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like, say, for example, if an average cost of a solar system is, say, $50,000, then at the installation of that solar system, that means that the house, the property value has gone up by 50,000. So it's a unique way. It's especially very unique if somebody gets a zero down solar loan, and that means that when their solar system is in place, they instantly have increased the value of their home by many thousands of dollars, but they've done that without having to spend the money. So that's a great great way of looking at things. How it increases the value of a home, and just an extra benefit of having a solar system.
So instead of investing, the average you said was about 50,000 for a solar system, and the zero down part, from what I heard earlier, does that mean that somebody is literally just making payments to the solar loan instead of to the utility company and not
Yes.
making a significant sum of money? Okay,
Yes.
let's see. I have a couple more questions. Let's see. Are there enough advantages for older people to make the switch?
Yes, there are. And it's kind of common for older people to say, well, I think I'm too old now to make that investment. Uh, I don't think it'll pay off in my lifetime, but I like to tell them, uh, but there is still a lot of advantages in it, because think about it. If you switch over to solar, like solar loan payments, your payments will be locked in. And when you get older and you don't have as much income coming in, think about the advantages in having lower payments, because especially when we go out, say 5, 10 years, and we see that the payments are locked in versus the utility company. Some are going up as much as like 20% per year. But with the payments locked in, that makes it easier for older people to be able to afford their energy costs. So, locking that in, I say, it's never, you're never too old to do that. And, think about who's going to have the house next to you. There's lots of advantages in, say, passing it to your children, and they don't have the burden of, the normal utility increases, and the normal utility bills.
So the solar panels come with some kind of a warranty, I imagine, because I know that some parts of the country have various things, whether it's earthquakes or hurricanes or some other tragedy. What happens with warranties in relation to those or other reasons?
Well, the main thing is that the solar panel manufacturers, pretty much all of them, have a 25-year warranty on their solar panels, coming from the factory. And the main thing that means is that they will still be producing like up to 85 or 90% of what they originally did when the panels were new at the end of 25 years. So that's the main warranty that the solar panel companies, manufacturers come with. Now, I'm able to, in some areas, to have a 30-year warranty across the board, and so that means more than just the output. It also means that a warranty against any leakage in the roof. It means a warranty against any solar panel malfunctioning and stopping working. So a 30-year warranty gives a real peace of mind to the homeowner.
Now, I imagine that warranty is for manufacturing defects, but does it cover hurricane things, or is that really the homeowner's insurance that covers that, or does the homeowner's the warranty for the solar companies, that 30 years, is that for catastrophes or just manufacturer's defects and wear and tear?
Well, it is not for what could be called acts of God. In other words, hurricanes, branches or trees falling on the solar panels. That needs to be included in the homeowner's insurance. So, yeah, there's not everything
Right.
included in
Gotcha.
these warranties.
Right. So has the cost of solar panels come down at all, or basically 50,000 is for the last 5 years, or is that recently and it used to be a lot higher?
Oh, the price of solar panels has come down dramatically. Like in the last 10 years, for example, it's come down, I'm trying to think, 70 or 80%, I think. So it's, yes, the systems, the parts, the panels just come down a whole lot. And, the good news is that with the government incentives for solar panel manufacturers in this country, the last year, year and a half, a lot more solar panel manufacturers have started are building factories. So it looks like the price of solar panels has a chance of coming down even more soon.
Now, that solar loan we were talking about earlier, is that based on like typical loans like mortgages, equipment loans? Is that based on people's credit or other criteria?
Well, it is based on people's credit. Yes, generally speaking, they need to have a credit score of at least 640. So yeah, see, was there another point there that?
Oh, actually, there was another point in my head that I probably didn't spit out, which was that being said, if there's reasonably good credit, they're over 600 FICO score, does that mean that their loan payment comparatively to the utility company would be the same, a lot higher than a typical utility bill? I mean, say I'm paying $200 a month for, to run the air conditioner and the other appliances in the house. Is it going to be something around that $200 range, or do you think it's going to be a little bit more or less?
Well,
over that 30-year period?
Yeah. Well, in other words, I usually go out 25 years, 20 to 25 years for a typical zero down solar loan. So when we're talking about, say, a $200 electric bill, I probably cannot make that the same at this point because of how much the interest rates have increased. But I think I can make it close to that. And so the point is that there's still a big advantage in going solar, even if initially or at first solar payments are a little higher, because as we all understand, as we've talked about today, when
The
we look
value
at
of
a
the house
chart,
is increasing. Yeah.
Well, but the main thing is that the utility rates, they are on an upward trajectory. You know, they'll continue to go up and the solar payments will not.
Well, this has definitely been enlightening. Is there any last thoughts, or do you want to let our viewers know how to reach you, your email, a phone number, website, and then I'll wrap up? Just share any last thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to mention quickly that generally speaking, solarized homes are a lot easier to sell. Some people say, well, I think I'm going to move in, say, 2 to 5 years. And I tell them, well, there's still a lot of advantages in going solar, even if you do. But yes, I do want to leave some contact information. Definitely invite the audience to reach out to me. My phone number is 276 608 7851. I am in the Eastern Time Zone in Virginia. My email address is davidking530 @gmail. So David King 530 @gmail. I also have a Facebook solar business page. You can look up David King Solar.
Thank you, David, for being with us at omgtalk.com, or the Small Business Owner, Entrepreneur, Workaholic, Professional Podcast, and meet and greet online and offline. We do meet locally here in South Palm Beach County every Wednesday between 8 and 9 a.m. So if you know anybody or anybody listening that wants to join us on Wednesday at 8 a.m. for an hour, like we just did this morning as well. Some of the things we talked about with David are what are the advantages of solar, similar advantages of owning your own energy system as compared to owning your home, the states he operates in, all over the country in all 50 states. How long have you been a solar consultant? He talked about that. 6 years, if I remember correctly. Are there tax incentives? Of course. I heard a bunch there. Zero down solar, other ways of financing, cash, of course. Equity loans, possibly, battery options. He explained what net metering is, a new term that I'm not sure if I was familiar with. Does having a solar system increase the value of a home? We just heard that a couple of times in there. And the advantages for older people to make the switch, yes or no. And do solar panels come with warranties, and the cost that they've come down quite a bit. I do want to thank you, and stick around after the show, David. We'll chit chat. And we'll play our outro by Tony of trcvoiceovers.com. You'll see his little blurb on the right side of the screen. He's also on Alignable. He graciously gave us this beautiful outro if you know somebody looking for a voiceover for their podcast. So ciao for now, everybody. And this has been David, and I'm Paul at omgtalk.com.
You've been listening to the OMG Online Meet and Greet Talk Show. Just for listening, grab 28 grand prizes at omgtalk.com or onlinemeetandgreet.com.
And don't forget, too, that you can get those grand prizes at omgtalk.com.